One of my followers asked me to do a video review of Teyana Taylor and her new man, Mufasa. I wanted to understand what she is running away from, meaning what has happened before in her relationship with her ex, so that I can understand what she's looking for in this new relationship with her new man. Before I get to their chart, I did a little bit of research, and let's see what the internet has to say about their history, okay? Mind you, again, this is all that I'm reading from the internet. I do not know these people. This is just what's been written about them. Okay, so Teyana Taylor and her ex-husband first met at a New York party, but she was not interested in a romantic relationship with him. See right there, ladies? See right there? From the get-go, she was not interested in a relationship with him. That was in 2011. So her spirit already knew this person, not for me. So from the very beginning, she was like, nope, no, I'm not interested. So then they became friends. And by the way, this is why I don't believe in men and women being friends. I don't believe in it. I'm old school. Maybe it's because I'm African. I'm traditional. I don't know, but I don't believe in it. You know, I'm not progressive enough to believe in it. In my experience, when a guy wants to be friends with a girl is because he's waiting for his chance to be intimate with her. Yes, sexually. So he's waiting for his opportunity to have a relationship with her that is intimate. Because why would a guy want to be friends with a girl? Guys aren't even that good of friends to each other. Do they even know how to be friends to each other? No. In my experience, their idea of friendship is very superficial. And whenever they're going through emotional things, they don't turn to each other. They're turned to women. You know, when I used to work as a therapist, when the guys would call in seeking a therapist that hardly ever wanted a man, you will ask them, do you want a man or a woman? It will be an extremely small percentage of them that actually want to talk to a man about their problem. Most men, when they're emotionally going through stuff, they want to talk to a woman about their problem because they know a woman is going to be better at helping them figure out their problem than a man. So this idea that a man can be a friend to a woman doesn't make sense to me. I need more data. Why would a man want to be friends with a woman? For what? What did they have in common? What did they have to discuss? What did they have to talk about? Except he's just waiting for his opportunity to get in her pants. That's usually what the game is. But she doesn't know it. She thinks he's just there to listen to her breakup stories when things with boys don't work out. Meanwhile, the whole time he's plotting and scheming and manipulating and just waiting for his opportunity to be the main guy. He may not even want to keep her. He may just want to have a chance to have that experience with her. That's why, personally, I don't believe in it. But obviously, y'all are grown. You're free to do what you want. So Teyana Taylor, when she met her ex-husband, she met him at a party, and she was not interested in a romance with him at the time, which leads me to believe that he probably made it obvious that he was interested in more than friendship, and she was not, okay? This is according to US Weekly, Yahoo Magazine, and People.com. This is all information from the internet. Okay, so fast forward to 2013, their friendship then evolved into a romantic relationship. Bullet number 2, more of a reason why I don't believe in men and women being friends, because usually the guy is waiting for his opportunity to change the friendship, which isn't really much of his friendship, but she doesn't know that because she doesn't know how manipulative men are with women and how they think of women as property that must be conquered and that must be owned and that must be, you know, like they're not as sincere as women think that they are. They're a lot more strategic with their wanting to be involved with women. There's usually an end goal. There's usually something that he wants from her. And it's usually her body, okay? It's usually her body, her money, her attention, her emotional energy. It's something that she has to provide that he wants. He's not here just to be here, okay? So he wore her down, right? And then 2 years later, they started dating. Obviously, a Sagittarius woman, if she wants to date you, she's going to date you right away because she likes you. She knows what she likes right away. Sagittarius women are not like wishy-washy with what they like, what they don't like. They're very direct, in fact. And that's one of the things that people often don't like about Sagittarius is they're too blunt. They're too direct. So if a Sagittarius woman likes you, she's not going to wait 2 years to let it be known. So that tells me that her spirit was already telling her, this is not for me. This is not for me. But he wore her down. She allowed him to wear her down. And then 2 years later, they decided to make that into a romantic relationship. Fast forward to 2014, they went public with their relationship, making their first red carpet debut at the 2014 BET Hip Hop Awards, okay? Now, a year later, after being on the red carpet, BET Hip Hop Awards, they announced that they were pregnant. So this is how it starts. They announced that they're expecting their first child in September, their daughter, right? And in 2016, a year after announcing that they were pregnant, they secretly got married. This is another theme that showed up in Cardi B's marriage, similar to this one, is the secret weddings, okay? Celebrity women don't want to have secret weddings unless it's like a purposeful attempt at avoiding paparazzi. It's like, I am deliberately wanting to keep this wedding secret because I don't want the press to have access to my wedding and to have pictures of my wedding. So when you have these up and coming young Black women who are coming into their fame, getting married to these guys, and they end up having these secret weddings after getting pregnant, that's always a red flag for me, because that kind of woman who's up and coming and climbing that ladder and getting that fame and the recognition for her work, she wants her love to be celebrated out here because her life is out here. So a secret wedding is definitely a red flag, especially when it's followed by a pregnancy, because a pregnancy is something that under most circumstances is planned. It's like, I want a baby. I want a baby with this person. So when the baby comes with the person, I'm not trying to keep it a secret. That was the whole point. So when a woman is invested in keeping her pregnancy and her marriage a secret, especially when she's young, like Teyana Taylor was when she got married, it always speaks to like coercion to me. It speaks to coercion. Like, this is something that she had to do as a result of the situation that she's in, not necessarily something that she intended to do out of the gate, okay? So they secretly got married. She had the baby. And then 2 years later, after they secretly got married, which is another red flag, they're starting their own reality show, Teyana and Iman, on VH1, okay? When you're a newly married couple who is still trying to figure out life as a married couple, bringing the public into your home in this way with cameras everywhere, especially when just 2 years ago you had a secret wedding after having a baby, that energy is too much, okay? Someone that had a secret wedding after having a baby is not somebody that wants the cameras to be on their relationship. It doesn't make sense. Because a person that wants to have a reality show and expose a relationship to the world is not the person that has a secret wedding. It's not the person that keeps their pregnancy a secret. That kind of person is on Instagram Live showing their pregnancy tests so everybody knows what's going on. People, by and large, are fairly consistent with their behavior. If you want to know who someone is, watch what they do repeatedly, because that pattern tells you who they are. Okay? A person that wants to have a secret pregnancy and a secret wedding is not somebody that wants to have a VH1, reality show about their love life or cameras is following them around. So that speaks to incongruency. And whenever when I used to practice as a therapist, when I would see incongruent behavior, I know that somebody's voice is not being heard because it doesn't make sense. So if it doesn't make sense, it's because somebody's feelings are being trampled over. It's because somebody's not being consistent or somebody's not being honest. Because when people are being themselves, they are consistent. People know who they are. People know what they want. The problem is usually people coming to partnership and they don't want to see the other person for who they're showing themselves to be. Okay? So they did the reality TV show. Then they had the second baby 2 years later. And then 3 years after the second baby was born in 2020, that's when they announced a separation. And then their divorce was finalized just last year. Okay? Now, let's move on to other details of their relationship. So we'll go into the details of the relationship before we get into astrologically their compatibility. So when they got divorced, initially she was very vocal about saying, okay, before you guys start with the crazy rumors, there was no cheating, there was no infidelity here, okay? Because, people love that. They love to see celebrity couples, break up, and they want to see like a nasty, drawn out divorce because it's entertaining for them, because these people have been entertaining them for all this long. So now they want every aspect of this person's life to be entertainment. So they're like, give me a nasty divorce, give me rumors, give me fights, give me all of the gross things. And, Teyana was like wanting to protect him, and her came out and said, I understand the media has to do its thing by telling their stories about what happened with our marriage, but I want to be very clear in saying that it was not infidelity. So, I understand the rumor mill has to churn and people have to make money from these false narratives. I get it, but don't try to put cheating on him or me because that was not a factor in why the relationship ended. So, allegedly, this is what she said back then, but there's some new reports now that are coming out that she said basically after she filed for divorce, because she's the one who decided she wanted the divorce, that's when his behavior escalated. According to her, after she filed for divorce, that's when he started actually cheating on her. So she took him back after she filed for divorce because he begged for her to come back and they were going to work it out. And then after she took him back, he cheated on her. And that's when she disclosed that there was a whole long history of cheating throughout the relationship. It wasn't just like a one-time thing, okay? In a court hearing, the couple was reportedly fighting over the assets in their marriage. That's why it took so long. Even though the marriage was dissolved last year and the divorce was finalized last year, we're only hearing about it now because she's dating somebody new. So that means that somebody in that camp is leaking the details of that divorce, okay? Because if it's a sealed divorce, why are we hearing about what was distributed during the divorce? We shouldn't know about it. We shouldn't hear about it because it was sealed. It was private. It was just between the two of them, and it was 2 years ago. So why is it happening now? Because now the girl has a new somebody, a new boo thing that is young and attractive. And now we're hearing all these details of the divorce that we were not hearing before. That's interesting. An interesting coinky dink that suddenly all these details are leaking out, even though they were divorced last year. So that was pretty much the allegations of cheating. She broke down on the witness stand during the divorce trial, and basically detailed that he had cheated on her. She said that cheating occurred before they got married and during her pregnancy, and also after she asked for divorce. Okay? So clearly this was not a good situation for her. Now, let's move on to the next step of that marriage that made it challenging. Let's see. So as far as the multiple cheating scandals, let me see if there's a little bit more to add here before I move on all the way from here. According to the New York Post, their 7-year marriage became irretrievable because of the cheating allegations, but I think it's because they couldn't get along anymore. It says Teyana previously announced that they had been separated for a while and that infidelity was not a factor. However, she claimed that things were very different behind the scenes in her filing of the divorce, and she reportedly tried to keep as private as possible. When she initially filed for divorce, she filed with her initials so that people wouldn't know the details of the divorce. But he went ahead and filed with his full name and her full name, and that's how all the details of the divorce were made public. There were no further details about the alleged cheating in the report, but she claimed that after she filed for divorce, he insisted on them getting back together, only to be involved in another cheating scandal after they got back together. Teyana Taylor said that she was embarrassed and she felt humiliated, and she accused him of cruel treatment. She accused him of narcissistic behavior and of being jealous of her career and fame throughout the majority of their marriage. She decided to file for divorce because she was unable to handle the emotional roller coaster of being with him. 1 minute he wants her, the next minute he's cheating on her. Hi, Divine I Am, thanks for being here. 1 minute he's like begging for her forgiveness, the next minute he's violating her. So she said she began to intentionally dim her light for her husband to try to have like a peaceful, harmonious marriage, because it became very obvious in the marriage that being herself in her authentic, bright, full energy, full of life, that was not going to work for him in the marriage. So she made herself smaller. And this is something a lot of women experience when they're in a marriage with a man who's jealous of them, or a man who wants to be a woman. Lots of women are married to men who want to be them. They just don't know it. They don't know that's why he's treating them so bad. You know, some men want to be a woman. They want the privilege of femininity. They want the privilege, the energy that women get that they don't get. They look at women and they want to be with her, but they don't realize the reason they want to be with her is because they want to be her. Okay? They want to be her. They want to take her light from her. And oftentimes the way they will do that is by impregnating you. So they look at you and they see a host. And they want to put their seed inside of you, because when they impregnate you, they think your value is going to decrease. They think other men are not going to want you anymore. And this is only because they never really liked you. It was about dominating you. It was about possessing you. It was about owning you. And that's what that was about. So she had to make herself smaller in the marriage in order for him to be happy. Because for a lot of men, relationships with women isn't about equality. It's about keeping their foot on your neck. It's about dominating you. It's about controlling you. It's about manipulating you into a position that is so tight and so uncomfortable that you lose touch with yourself. And now they become the only source of light, power, direction, sensibility, and energy in your life. You start to hate yourself so much that you don't even know who you are anymore outside of them telling you who you are. Okay? And many men relate to women in this way. It can be as aggressive as physical abuse or as subversive as emotional abuse. But either way, they're going to use mechanisms to make you feel small. Someone said to keep you trapped. Yes. And they hate their child too. Yes. And they hate the mother and the child, because the whole time they were actually jealous of the mother. And this is why you may notice a lot of times these men, whenever the relationship doesn't work, they disappear from their children's lives too. So when they stop being able to have access to the woman so they can abuse her, they stop being able to have access to her so they can, be intimate with her. Whenever the woman is no longer serving them and their selfish needs, whenever she's no longer like an indentured, servant to them, it's done. They don't care if they had 4 children with her. The children disappear from their mind the same way the woman disappears. If the woman doesn't want them anymore, they stop showing up as fathers for their children, because they never loved that woman and they never loved those children, because at the root of it, they don't like themselves. Because any man that rejects their own seed can never convince me that he likes himself. Never. Because it doesn't make any sense. What do you mean you abandoned your child simply because you couldn't sleep with her mother? That makes no sense to me. JB said, yep, and they always come back when they're sick. Yes, someone said, yes, that's true. It doesn't make sense. A man that loves himself loves his seed. And even if he cannot be with the mother of his child, he's still going to be involved. So when you hear these cases of these men impregnating these women, wanting these women to feel small, these women fight to get their power back and to get their autonomy back, and then disappear from their child's life, that should already tell you this is not a man that wanted to be with this woman. He either wanted to be her, was jealous and envious of her, wanted to dominate and control her, because that's the only way that he can feel worthy as a person, okay? She said while she was dimming her light to make him feel more comfortable, he became more and more angry about her fame. She alleged that he crashed her Rolls Royce and fled the scene to avoid a DUI arrest. So he takes her car, he crashes it because he is inebriated while driving it, and he's trying to avoid an arrest. So he fled the scene with her vehicle. Imagine that. I'm at home taking care of our kids, and you take my car and get me involved with the authorities in a situation that I wasn't even a part of. And I'm supposed to just be like, oh, it's okay, baby, when you come home. No, that's not happening. She also alleged that he has had 2 previous DUI arrests since they were together, okay? And She claimed that he would get annoyed when they were out together at events because photographers who are naturally trained to go for the woman, you know, like when the women are on the red carpet, photographers love it. They're like, oh, Taylor, give me a little to the left. Taylor, a little to the right. Taylor, can you give me shoulder? Can you give me this pose? Can you give me that pose? This is what photographers do. This is what paparazzi do because they know we want to see the women, okay? All of us want to see the women. The men want to see the women. The women want to see the women because they have more beautiful clothes. We want to see the gowns. We want to see the dress. We want to see the hair. We want to see the makeup. We want to see the nails. That's why we're here. We're not here to see a tuxedo, right? But when you're with a man who is jealous and envious of your femininity, of the organs that God has given you, of your ability to create life, what this man is going to do is every time you're being admired for being a beautiful woman, he's going to have an issue. He's going to have an issue because why is nobody looking at him? He wants that attention. He wants people to fangirl over him. He wants to be the one that's like doing this and doing that. But paparazzi is like, move out of the way. We're here to see her. We want to see Teyana. Move out of the way. And when his ego is fragile because he's not in his masculinity anyways, him being shooed off the red carpet by paparazzi is very insulting to his already like struggling self-esteem. So naturally that created issues in their marriage, okay? She also alleged that the NBA champion would feel insecure about being good enough for her. That when he signed his $40 million contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2015, he was very insecure. So again, it's not about money. A lot of women, they get blinded by the money. They think, oh, if he's powerful, if he's successful, and he's got a lot of money, that means he's a confident masculine man. No. Masculinity is not about money. A man cannot have a penny to his name and be more of a man than a man that is a multimillionaire. A lot of times too, these guys that are super wealthy tend to have the most insecurities, the most fragile egos, because they're fighting bigger battles, okay? Their masculinity is constantly being tested because when you're managing more money, you have a lot more responsibilities on your plate and you have to fight more to get more money and protect the money that you have. You know, there is a lot coming at you when you're managing that kind of money. So your ego is going to be more fragile. A lot of very successful people are also some of the most insecure people in the world. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. So while he's sitting over here looking pretty with $40 million, the woman that he has besides him, he feels like he does not deserve her. Because he knows she's out of his league. That's why she didn't want to date him to begin with. That's why it took 2 whole years for her to agree to date him. Because he already knew she was out of his league. And she knows that she's out of his league. This is what, you know, in the Christian faith we call unevenly yoked. That's what we're talking about. People that are not on the same vibration do not make good partners. Because a partner that is envious of you and who wants to be you and who's jealous of you can never be a good partner. Because in everything they do, they want to make sure they have the upper hand because they feel insecure. They feel unworthy. They feel small when they're sitting next to you. Even though you're giving them your everything, they feel undeserving of you. There's nothing you can do for such a person. You can make yourself smaller and smaller and smaller. It's not gonna make them love you more. It's not gonna make them confident. It's not gonna make them mentally, emotionally stable. They're going to continue to make you the problem because they don't want to work on themselves. They don't want to work on themselves. The things that they need to work on so that they can feel more confident, they can feel more strong, they can feel more competent, they can feel more powerful, they can feel like they deserve you and they're happy. These are internal things. These are childhood things. These things have nothing to do with you. These things were there before they even met you. But unfortunately, a man is not going to come to you and tell you, you know what? I feel insecure when I'm next to you. I feel insecure when you're standing next to me. I feel insecure, like, with you as my wife. Even though you are my wife, I don't feel like I deserve you. Thank you so much for my gifts, love. I appreciate it. I don't feel like I deserve you. I don't feel like I'm man enough for you. A man is never, never, ever, 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 never, ever in a million years tell you that. No. Instead, he's going to use his position of power in the relationship to make you feel small at every intersection. And that's what was going on with her. I'm just glad that she caught on. You know, even though she's so young, she's very wise, obviously, because she caught on very early to what was going on and decided to leave that relationship, okay? Prior to that, he had an impressive start to his career with the Knicks after being picked in the first round of the 2011 NBA draft out of Georgia Tech, okay? And look at what happened after he got with her. She elevated him, which is the other thing. Women that are very powerful energetically, they will attract a lot of guys that are insecure energetically because these women elevate them. These women make them more powerful, more beautiful, more successful. But because they don't have that same energy to give her, the only thing they can do is try to reduce hers. Because they don't want to work on bringing theirs up. So they're going to try to reduce hers. Brings hers down, because ultimately they have issues with their moms, okay? They have issues with their mothers. They don't want to admit that they cannot stand their mothers, and they have anger towards their mothers. They don't want to take it to their mothers. So instead, they're going to take it to the new woman in their life and make her pay for everything that the mother was or wasn't to them, okay? Moving on, per the court documents, Teyana Taylor alleged that he started sending her condescending text messages with manipulative language about her stardom. And he would pick fights with her for no reason and then apologize. So basically, now you're having somebody that is emotionally manipulating you and that is psychologically waging warfare on you because they want you to feel bad about yourself and they want you to feel small about yourself and they want you to feel like your life is not really your life and you're not really who you say that you are and you don't. They want you to feel like you don't really have what you think you have and you're not really that girl when you know you're that girl and you're obviously that girl. But they want you to feel like you're not that girl and that you're not special and that you're not great. So they need you to feel small so they can feel worthy. Anybody that needs you to feel small so they can feel worthy is not an ally. Relationships, whether they're marriage or whatever we're talking about, are about being a partner. Being a partner is about being an ally. Being an ally is about being a supporter. A person that is not an ally cannot make a good marriage partner or otherwise because they think marriage is a competition where they get to be better than the other person as opposed to thinking of marriage as a partnership where we both come to work on ourselves to make the relationship as good as it can be, okay? So he's basically sending her nasty text messages, according to her, allegedly, trying to make her feel small and insignificant about the success that she has accomplished in her life because he needs her to feel insignificant so he can feel good about himself, okay? Moving on. She also said that she ended up turning down many music opportunities and many acting jobs because he did not want her to work. And then when she stopped working after welcoming their daughters, he then complained about her not making enough money because she was not working. Do you see that? We call that a catch-22. So as a man, I'm saying to you, I need you to stop doing all these things. You're running around, you're making music videos. By the way, this woman is stunning, Teyana Taylor, stunning and so talented. You can tell she works really hard on her body and her craft, okay? You can visibly tell, like that body is T in every year. I've never seen that woman not looking the part. She looks amazing. I still remember that Kanye video with her, like it's magic watching her dance, watching her move. Like she works hard, you can tell. So he tells her, you're working too hard. I don't want you running around doing all these things with all these women. I don't need you doing all these music videos, doing all these movies. You're not here. I need a wife to be at home. So then she says, okay, I'm going to work less. And then she starts working less and being more present with her children in the home, and now it's a problem because she's not bringing as much money as she used to. A catch-22 is always going to be imposed by a lover who does not want you to win. It was never about the complaint. Yeah, he was gaslighting her. You got it. It's manipulation at its finest. You know, it's like, let me see what you do when I say this. So when I say that you're working too much, let me see what you're going to do. Are you going to work less? Because that's how you prove to me that you love me, is you let me manipulate you. You have to let me manipulate you, because that's how you prove to me that you love me. If I cannot manipulate you, how do I know that you love me? And that's how manipulative personalities think. They think love is manipulation. So how many which way can I bend you into a shape that I like? And none of it makes sense. Because obviously when she decided to pull back from working so she could be more present, there was another issue. The new issue now is you don't make enough money. Yes, when you work hard, then they do something different. Because it was never about the work. It was never about any of it. It was about making you feel small and making you feel used and making you feel dependent and making you feel manipulated. It was about taking the God-given light out of you so that you became a shell of yourself, so that they could be so disgusted with you that they're just like, oh, I don't want this anymore. This is not the beautiful, shiny woman that I had before. Okay? JB said, sounds like he's got Libra in his big six. Sounds familiar. We're going to get to the astrological chart in a little bit. So she said that she reacted with like basically trying to appease her, trying to do other things that he wanted her to do. And the more she tried to appease her, the more he would become more cruel, more selfish. Okay, so she said the more she would try to appease him, the more he would become more cruel, more selfish in the relationship. And the more she tried to appease him, the more she tried to save the marriage, the worse his behavior would get. Because ultimately, he did not want to be in that marriage, basically. So in the divorce, she asked for permanent primary physical custody of their children, joint legal custody, and child support. Okay, so this is all New York Post this is what the New York Post is reporting. So now the divorce has been finalized as of last year, but the details of it are just coming out now because she's dating somebody new and somebody's leaking this information for us to know. All right, so let's talk about what she got in the divorce settlement, and then we'll move over to talking about their astrological match. She will take possession of their 4 homes valued at more than $10 million as part of their divorce settlement. They're both, 34, 35? They've reached an agreement that puts an end to their lengthy legal battles, which began when she filed for divorce in 2023. And as you guys know, they got married in 2016. According to multiple reports, under the settlement, Teyana Taylor is going to receive 4 properties, but also a 7-figure payout, a $300,000 Maybach, a $70,000 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, and a tour bus. Okay? He's also going to pay her $8,000 a month in child support and fund his children's private school education. She's going to retain full ownership of her businesses, which include fitness brand Fade to Fit. Well, of course, she owns a fitness brand. Have you seen her? A choreography center and partnership with fashion companies. So it sounds like she made it out of there pretty good, right? He's going to keep his home in South Fulton and Decatur, Georgia, as well as his Miami condo. She's going to take possession of their Georgia home that the couple purchased in 2020. And that mention was featured prominently on the couple's reality series, We Got Love, during which she opened up about the process of overhauling the property to give it a more luxurious feel. So she walked away with what she deserved, what she was owed. Somebody said she won. Yes, she did win. And unfortunately for her, the part of this that she can't get back is the time. You know, that's always the part that hurts women the most. It's the time that they invested into a relationship with somebody that hated them. Like, you can never get that time back. Yes, you can get the Maybach, you can get the houses, you can get the money, you can go on a vacation to cry your tears and, you know, get yourself to feel better. But this is time that you wasted with someone that sold you one thing and then did a whole nother thing. I read somewhere that they had a clause in their marriage, like an infidelity clause basically saying that, you know, if somebody cheats in the marriage, like this is what's going to happen. Like people spell these things out. And the fact that he ended up cheating after he's the one who asked for it is very telling, because there's no reports of her cheating, obviously. So sometimes people get married because that's what they think they're supposed to be doing with their lives, but they're not actually people that are good for marriage. Marriage requires certain skills that some people don't have, but they still want to partake in marriage, and they don't want to work on the things that they need to work on so that they can actually be good marital candidates. Marriage is for people that are good marital candidates. To be a good marital candidate, you have to believe in partnership. You have to believe in working together. You have to believe in bringing your best to the relationship. You have to believe in working on yourself so you can be a good mate. You have to cheer your person along. You have to support them. You want them to be great. You want them to reach for the stars. You want them to be happy. Okay? You want them to be happy in the marriage. You want to be their friend. You want to care for them. A person that marries someone that they're jealous of, or that they want to keep small, or that they're trying to manipulate because they want you to feel bad about yourself, is not a person who loves you. I don't care how long you've been married to them. Somebody that makes fun of you, that cheats on you, that breaks your trust, that violates you, that manipulates you, that tells you one thing and does another, somebody that has no integrity, someone that's not in your corner, someone that doesn't go to bat for you, someone that does not support you, is not your marriage mate. They're not your anything. They're your enemy. They're your enemy. Somebody that is your enemy cannot make a good marriage mate. So let's stop with the charades. To be a good marriage mate, you have to be a good person. And you have to be a good person that is interested in being good to your person. A person that's not even good to themselves, how do you expect them to be good to you? It doesn't make sense. Now let's get into their astrological natal chart. Teyana is a Sagittarius sun. He is a Cancer sun. That's already a problem, because water and fire are not compatible in astrology, okay? So when they're in their ego, this is a no-go. Oh, those are bars. When they're in their ego, this is a no-go. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Because Sagittarius and Cancer are not compatible. Because that's fire and water, okay? Fire and water is a no-go. So ego-based, not happening. Let's move on to the moon, because when we're talking about love, we want to look at the moon, because the moon is feelings. We can talk about feelings, right? And not talk about a moon sign. So her moon sign is in Libra, and his moon sign is in Leo. The problem with Libra and Leo is that they're both emotionally high attention seeking, okay? Emotionally needy zodiac sign. Cancer is needy in the sense that they love to emotionally manipulate to get what they want. They don't have the confidence to come out and demand what they want and ask for what they want. So they use subversive means to manipulate people into position so they can get what they want. The neediness of Libra is more of they need adoration. They need praise. They need attention. They need a lot of affection. Same with Leo. And that's why generally I don't like to see Libra with Leo, whether at the Venus or at the moon, because they both want the same thing, but usually they don't think about relationships in terms of like, let me give so I can get. They think of relationships in terms of what am I getting out of it. So these two need somebody that's going to be like talking about them, posting them, crazy about them, obsessed with them, want to be up under them all the time, so they have the option of being like, oh, too much, just leave me alone, give me a break from you. But they really secretly love it, you know, like they need the drama of like the emotional highs and lows of love. And when they're together, there can be a lot of selfishness that comes in because they both refuse to give the other what they want. So him being a Leo moon, he's probably very demanding emotionally that she be a certain way so that he can control the narrative about their relationship. And her being Libra moon, she could compartmentalize all of these requests to do the things that needed to be done. She also has that Libra moon at the 7th degree, so she's naturally predisposed to being somebody that likes partnership, that wants to be together. So she probably may struggle with codependency issues where, you know, it's like she needs somebody around so she can feel good. People who have Libra moon tend to struggle with codependency issues. And unfortunately for them, it's not until relationships fall apart that they realize that they've lost themselves. But many of them, that's kind of the story. When they're in relationship, they forget about themselves and they give all of themselves to the other person, never thinking about, well, is this person giving me back the energy that I'm giving? Am I getting what I deserve from this relationship? So when you have that at the 7th degree, it's going to be even more emphasized, okay? Moving on to Mercury. Her Mercury is in Capricorn and his is in Gemini. That's the problem right there. Capricorn and Gemini have no business together. They're not even on the same plane. Gemini is busy having fun and Capricorn is building an empire. No, this is exactly what the problem is. And Mercury Capricorn, when they're ready to read you to filth, I saw a TikTok today that said you need a bulletproof vest when Capricorn is talking to you. If you're going to ask a Capricorn to tell you the truth, you need a bulletproof vest. Because when Capricorn opens their mouth to tell you what's going on, there will be no feelings spared. And it's not that they're trying to be mean. It's they're an earth sign. They feel like they're actually like wasting your energy. That's what it is. Capricorn feels like they're doing you a disservice. They're doing you a disservice by not telling you all the ways that you're lacking. Because if you don't know all the details of the ways that you're lacking, how can you improve? So they don't like the idea of cheating people out of things. So if I know something that you don't know, I'm going to spell it out for you so that you know. But here's the thing, it's going to sting because you don't know. And most likely you don't want to know. And for Gemini, it's more about like, I don't care, like your sensitivity and your emotionality is not a part of my repertoire. Like that's not a part of, I'm not interested in that. I don't care how my words make you feel. Like I'm not interested in what you're feeling. I'm interested in the facts. Okay? So Gemini Mercury, they want to stick to the facts. Okay? And Capricorn Mercury also likes to stick to the facts. But the thing with Gemini is that they don't like they don't like the truth that doesn't fit their narrative. This is why oftentimes people accuse Gemini of being a liar, is because Gemini likes to stretch the truth. And for Capricorn, the truth is very rigid. It's black or it's white. If you love me, why are you cheating on me? It makes no sense. So something is amiss. You want me to believe that you love me, but at every turn, you're making things difficult. You love me, but you want me to work a little less so I can be in the home. But then when I'm more in the home, you want to shame me for not making as much money as you because I'm in. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like a Capricorn is not going to let you get away with that. It's going to be black or white. And Gemini is going to try to tiptoe and tap dance and da-da-da. Look over here. Look over here. This is da-da-da-da-da. No. Capricorn is going to be like right back here to this circle right here. This conversation right here. Do you see this bullet point right here? Right here. This bullet point right here. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about this right here. I don't care about anything else. We can get to all the other matters later. But for now, I'm on this bullet point. Right here. And this is what drives people crazy about Capricorn is because when we lock in, baby, we're coming for blood. Okay? Because to get me here, for me to lock in over here, do you know how much effort I put into trying to see it from your point of view, trying to analyze it from another way, trying to be easy with you, trying to be understanding, because Capricorn is very helpful. They like to help. They like to help, even though it comes out mean. That's not what the intention is. It's to make things better. That's the intention. But when you have deceitful intentions, Capricorn can't work with that. We can work with ignorance. You know, you don't know. You don't know what's going on. You didn't realize it was going to, like, we can deal with that. But the thing with Gemini is that they like to be intentionally deceitful, but do not want to take responsibility for the deceit. And that is where Capricorn and Gemini just crash. Because the logic of Capricorn, their attention to detail, their analytical nature, the way they observe things, their psychic abilities, you're playing yourself, okay? The mental jujitsu that you're doing that may work for other people, when you get to Capricorn, it's going to lose all of its luster. Like all of it is going to, because they only deal with facts. Capricorn only deals with reality. And if you think you're going to outsmart them on common sense, then you've got another thing coming. So that's why when I tell you guys to look at your other placements, it's important that you understand how you communicate. Because in a relationship, there's going to be problems. That's what relationships are. They're a ground for us to like figure problems out and work through them so we can get to that next level. Okay? But when you're in a relationship with somebody who does not communicate well with you, it's going to be a problem. You know, Capricorn and Gemini do not communicate the same way at all. So these two have severe communication issues. And the other thing is she has hers at the 8th degree. So when she's communicating, she's being dominant. A man that is already feeling insecure about you as a woman is not going to appreciate you being dominant when you're talking to him, especially if you're already talking to him in a Capricorn voice, which is already dominant. And then you put that Scorpio energy on top of that Capricorn where you can see all of his shadows, all of his darkness, all of his insecurities, and you can spell them out for him bullet by bullet so he doesn't miss any point of reconciliation. You think he's going to receive that well? No, his ego is already fragile. So that's a problem. Moving on to Venus. Her Venus is in Sagittarius and his is in Gemini. Well, there you have it. Sagittarius and Gemini Venus, you guys need to never get married. Okay? Someone said, yes, I have my sun and Mercury in 10th house in Pisces, but I'm very practical. Yeah. Venus and Gemini, Venus and Sagittarius, terrible in marriage. These are non-monogamy people. And from what I understand, they had like a non-monogamous relationship because they both saw other people within the course of the marriage. Maybe that's what was appealing about the marriage in the beginning, but no. These are not long-term relationship people. Sagittarius is terrible long-term relationship when it's at the Venus. Same with Gemini. These people like the idea of companionship, but they don't like missing out on all the other stuff that happens outside of companionship. You know, they have like FOMO, both of these signs. The other thing, moving on to Mars, her Mars is in Gemini and his is in Aries. Oh, yikes. He's her worst nightmare. Mars in Gemini is not somebody you want to argue with. Oh my God. Yeah, you don't want to argue with Mars in Gemini because the same way Capricorn is like rooted in the truth as I see it, Mars in Gemini is a very fast thinker who's able to quickly analyze a problem. And when they're ready to go to war, best believe all the data is like neatly organized for when, you know, when you're ready to strike. And Gemini and Aries are typically compatible, but if the relationship is negative, this is a very explosive combination where he quickly gives into anger when he doesn't get his way. And she can play the game that he plays at a higher level. You know, the manipulation games, manipulators hate it when you flip the script on them. They don't understand that those of us that don't resort to manipulation, it's not because we don't have the gift. They don't understand that. They think it's because we don't know. They don't realize that, no, it's because we respect you, that we're treating you with honor and decency. But if you want to play this game, I can show you another side. And that's what she did. She played the game better than he plays it. And this is what that looks like. Moving on to Jupiter. She has her Jupiter in Leo, so she was meant to be a star, and she's going to be a star regardless of what he says, and she is a star. Now, let's move on to Saturn. They both have their Saturn in Capricorn. So this is a karmic relationship. I keep telling you guys, do not date people who have your Saturn. It's a karmic relationship. They both have their Uranus in Capricorn. It's a karmic relationship. Do not date people who have your same Uranus. It's a karmic relationship. They both have their Neptune in Capricorn. It's a karmic relationship. Do not date people who have your same Neptune. They're going to be jealous and envious of you, and you're going to be jealous and envious of them. It's not going to work. They both have their Pluto in Scorpio. Karmic relationship. Can someone tell me who their 3 karmic zodiac signs are? Come on, I've been doing this on here at TikTok for a couple years now. If there's one thing I've taught you, it's how to recognize the karmic. What are the karmic zodiac signs? There's 3 of them. What are they? I'm going to give it a couple of seconds. Aquarius, yes. Capricorn, yes. Scorpio, yes. Libra is exalted at Saturn, but Libra is not by definition a karmic. So there's three of them: Scorpio, Capricorn, and Aquarius. When you share the same Saturn placement, which is the planet of karma, with somebody, it's a karmic relationship regardless of what sign it is. Okay, so let's say you and somebody else have your Saturn in Taurus, that's karmic. But even more so, when you have a karmic placement at your Saturn, which is Capricorn, Scorpio, and Aquarius, and that person also has Capricorn, Scorpio, and Aquarius at that placement, okay? Even more so when your Uranus is in a karmic zodiac sign, because Aquarius is already a karmic, the one ruled by Uranus. So having Capricorn at your Uranus, and you both have it, makes this extremely karmic. And then Pluto, the planet of transformation, ruled by Scorpio, also a karmic, and they both have Scorpio there. If they had an astrologer that would have known this is a karmic relationship, leave those relationships alone. Leave them alone, because these are people that you've been trying to do love with over several lifetimes, and you just can't figure it out. That's why it's the same placement. It's because it's the same problem. It's the same issue that you're supposed to be working on. It's the same area of your development that you're resisting. It's the same. When it's the same, you already know you're going to be stuck. And that's what happened. They got stuck. That's why the relationship didn't work. That's why they got divorced, because they got stuck together. A relationship is supposed to be a place that is enigmatic, a place that's exciting, a place that's interesting, a place where you're growing, where you're learning, where you're loving, where you're crying, where you're stretching, where you're doing fun things. A relationship is not a place where you get stuck. They got stuck together because this is a karmic relationship. It's like they're tied together in a really unhealthy way. They both have their North Node in Aquarius. Again, Aquarius is not very keen on monotony in relationship. So these two were supposed to be friends. And this is why when he first met her, she didn't want a romantic relationship. Being a Sagittarius, having psychic abilities, she could sense this is not a relationship type. This is not good for romance. This is good for friendship. And they were friends for 2 whole years before they started dating. So had they stayed friends, which is what they should have stayed, we wouldn't be here. The other thing is she has her Lilith in Sagittarius. So that thing that he was jealous of, which is her Sagittarius energy, she also had it at the Lilith. Lilith and Sagittarius women often meet men if they're straight, or other women if they're into queer relationships, regardless of who they're dating, men, women, they're them. They often meet partners who want to control them because they're free. They're born free. They're naturally free. Like, look at Teyana's body. Like, you can tell this is a woman that has a lot of agency, a lot of drive. Like, her body is sculpted for the gods. You can tell she takes time out of her day to go to the gym. You can tell she watches what she eats. You can tell she takes care of her skin. She looks like she takes care of herself. Like, she doesn't need anybody to do things for her. These are the type of women that attract men who want to control them, who want to manipulate them, and who want to possess them. Because these types of men are so insecure that the idea of a woman being free, being independent, is very threatening to them. They're not aware of it cognitively. It's not like they wake up and they're like, oh, I want to take power away from her. I want to keep her small. I want to keep her in a cage. It's an energetic thing. When a man does not feel manly enough, he's going to be competing with women for their femininity. He's going to be jealous that the woman is getting more attention than him. And that's how you know. Because a man that is secure in his masculinity is not worried about the attention that a woman is getting. He's got bigger fish to fry, naturally, right? So, ladies, keep an eye out for that. The other thing is Chiron, okay? They both have the same Chiron, which is in Cancer. The healing that they're both needed, they couldn't give to each other. They both have healing that they need to engage in their relationship with their mother, with motherhood, with femininity. And they could not give it to each other. And his is at the 17th degree, which is very, very telling. because that's Leo degree. So there's a lot of arrogance there. I would be curious to know what his relationship is like with his mother and how his relationship with his mother affected their marriage, because I feel like there's a story there. Okay? And I would be curious to know what his relationship is like with her mother, because I suspect that the presence that her mother had in his life and in her life, the fact that her mother created stability in her life was problematic for him. Because here's the thing, manipulative men, they don't like it when there are other people in your life as a woman that are involved with you. They don't like it. They like to feel like you're alone in the dark and nobody loves you and nobody cares for you, because that way they're able to abuse you with no repercussion. They're able to abuse you without worrying about anybody coming in and saying, hey, that's not right. Don't talk to her like that. Don't treat her like that. Don't handle her like that. They don't need that. They don't need interference. They like to abuse you as much as they can, as much as they want, without anybody getting involved. So I suspect that her mother was very involved. So I think there was some mommy drama going on both sides in the background. The other thing is they both have their fortune in Aries. So at the end of the day, these two are supposed to be independent and free. They were never supposed to have been doing the marriage thing. So looking at their chart, it's very obvious they should have never gotten married for many reasons. But the most important reason is because this is a karmic relationship that was not going to lead to them growing, them developing, and them creating a happier and better life for themselves. This is a relationship that was going to keep them stuck, keep them drained, keep them miserable, and keep them like losing themselves. In order for this to work, they had to face their demons, they had to face their childhood mommy issues, and they had to be actively involved in healing those issues. And obviously it didn't work because they were not willing to do that labor. Now, I don't know how much of this work they've done since separating, but if they ever happen to watch this video, I want them to know that this is why it went wrong. Especially with him, because he has his sun sign at the Cancer degree. So a lot of times when a man has issues with his mom, if they're unhealed and unresolved, he will bring that to his woman subconsciously. And he would expect her to heal all of the harm that mommy has done to him indirectly, without directly asking her to step into that role. So no matter what she does, he's never happy because his relationship with femininity is wounded. Okay, his relationship with the creator of life is wounded. So when he meets a woman and he ends up impregnating her, of course he's going to be triggered because his relationship with his own mother is triggering to him. So this is a classic case of unresolved Cancer mommy issues. And anybody that has Cancer at the sun, moon, or rising, you should already know mommy issues. When we don't address our mommy issues, we bring them to every other relationship that we have. Not just the husband and wife one or the wife and husband one. We bring them to all of the other relationships that we have. And this is why it's so important for all of us to address our mother wound, our father wound, our childhood traumas, because in the absence of that, we're not able to manifest healthy relationships. So what do you guys think of their divorce? What do you think of their story? What do you think of their astrological compatibility? Did you learn anything from their story that can apply to your own life? Let me know. Leave your comments so I can read them. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Karma was present. Yes, this was a heavy karmic relationship. Someone said, you gave me confirmation. Well, yay, I'm in the business of confirmation. I'm so glad that this gave you confirmation. Very good. Thank you, Latoya, for liking the live. Thanks, everyone, for all my gifts. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your support, your encouragement. Thank you for your likes, tapping on the screen, being present. I appreciate it. I hope this is helpful to somebody out there that's still looking for the love of your life. If there's nothing that you take away from this, remember, same Saturn, same Uranus, same Pluto, red flag. Same Venus, red flag. Okay? We can overcome a lot of things, but we cannot overcome these 4 placements that I just mentioned. Okay? Anyone with Cancer at the sun, moon, and rising is going to have deep-seated mommy issues. If they've never gone to therapy to address them, they will bring it to you, to your relationship. Because mommy issues don't just stay with mommy when we leave her. They go with us wherever we go. And when we don't heal them, we keep repeating them with every relationship we have with the divine feminine. Okay? Thanks, guys, for hanging out, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye. You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo for all of your astrology content. Thanks so much for watching.